We are going to go down onto your backs. We're going to go all the way down, pull the knees in towards you, hug the knees into the chest. We're going to do a little bit of abdominals. So lying down on the back, pulling the knees in. Just rest there to start off with. So you just rest there to start off with. Just slow the breathing down, relax. Lie there for a little moment. Let one leg go out, keep the other knee hugged in, and then hold that position. And then change sides, so bring the other knee up, hug the knee in, pull that knee in towards you, and again, hold that position. And then let the soles of the feet go down on the floor, widen the arms out, just drop both knees down towards one side and hold that position again. Keep holding it. We're going to hold that for a couple of little seconds. And then bring the knees up and change sides. Same idea, hold it there. And then come back to the center. Straighten both legs out, keep the arms out wide. Bring one knee up and over the hip. Bring that knee up and across to the other side. Hand onto the outside edge of the knee. And we're going to go into our big rotation. Hold that position. Try and keep the back of the shoulders just on the floor. And we're going to change sides. So both legs straight. Bring the knee up. Bring the knee up and across. Hand onto the outside edge of the knee. Big rotation. Hold it there. And then coming back to the center, soles of the feet on the floor, bring one ankle up onto the knee, hands either side of the thigh, pull the thigh up towards you. I'm using my right knee comes onto left thigh, hands come in behind the left thigh. Hold that position, that's good. And then we're going to change sides, so bring the other ankle up onto the knee, hands either side of the thigh, pull it up towards you again, hold that position. And then we're going to go soles of feet down onto the floor. Bring the hands down beside the hips. So we're going to brace the spine. So we're going to set the spine. So we're going to tuck your bum, flatten the base of your spine down against the ground. Keep the breathing gentle and then float one knee up and over the hip. From there, we're going to take that leg straight to the ceiling. Try and get the leg as straight up to the ceiling as possible so that the foot and the knee are above the hip. As much as you're able to. Keep the leg straight and then drop the leg down to the floor. Float the leg about 1 inch or 2 inches just above the ground and then slide the heel up towards the bum and then straighten the leg back up to the ceiling. Try and get that technique where the leg is straight up over the hip as much as you're able to. Drop the leg back down, slide the heel back in and then straighten the leg up to the ceiling again. Drop it down, slide it in, straight back up. Drop it down, slide it in, straight back up. Drop it down, slide it in, straight back up. Try and get that 3 distinct positions. So you've got straight to the ceiling, straight along the floor, and then heel to bum. Straight to the ceiling, straight along the floor, heel to the bum. And we're going to go for 5 and 4. 3, that's good, 2, and 1, all the way down, heel to the bum, place the heel back onto the floor and then change sides. So straight onto the other side, we're going to tuck your bum, flatten the back, set the spine, keep the breathing gentle, float one knee up and over the hip, straighten that leg up to the ceiling, keep the leg straight, drop it down to the floor, slide the heel to the bum, straight to the ceiling. Again, try and work on straightening the leg as much as possible. So really taking a little moment when you're going to the ceiling, trying to get that full straight leg, getting and working into that straight leg position to the ceiling. So some people will find that very difficult, but work up to it. Work as much as you're able to, getting up to that straight leg to the ceiling. And we're going to go for 5 more. So 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Heel to the bum, drop the legs down to the floor, widen the arms out, and then just drop the knees out to the side, and then bring them back up again, and change sides, and then bring them back up again, and change sides. Just go into your continuous knee rolls, dropping the knees out to the side, and then bringing them up, dropping them out to the side, and then bringing them up. We're going to go for 10 knee rolls, just getting that full rotation, trying to get the outside edge of the knee down to the floor. We're going to go for 9, and 8, 7, 6, and 5. That's good. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then coming back to the center. So your soles of the feet are going to stay on the floor. Bring the hands down beside the hips again. What we're going to do is we're going to do a knee drop out. So what happens is your knee is going to drop out to the side while the other knee stays as still as possible. So what's going to happen? Knees are going to separate, dropping the knee out to the side. The knee won't go the whole way to the ground because we want to keep the back of the hips on the ground. And we're going to just do one leg at a time. We're going to repeat that movement 10 times. So as you're dropping your knee away from the other leg, your leg that's not moving is going to stay still as possible. So you can almost imagine a nice glass of wine on the knee. We don't want to drop one little drop of wine out of the glass. So you're going to keep it as still as possible. Make sure that the back of your hips stays on the floor as well. So keep the back of the hips on the floor for the whole movement. We're dropping the knee out, keeping the other knee as still as possible. And we're going to go for 5 more. So 5, and 4, and 3, that's good, and 2, last one, and then change sides. So drop the other knee out to the side, separating the knee, getting that knee out as far as you feel able without lifting. We don't want the back of the hips to come off the ground. We want the back of the hips firmly planted on the ground. And then the knee that's not moving is staying as still as possible. So we're going to go for 5 more. So 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1, and then come back to the center. So the next level up, that is a level 1 knee drop out. We're going to do a level 2 knee drop out. So same idea as usual. We're going to tuck the bum, flatten the back, keep the back of the pelvis and the back of the very base of the spine on the ground. Float one knee and then float the other knee. So we're in our tabletop position. We've got the knees at 90 degrees. What you might do is you might just slide the hands out away from the hips a little bit, not the whole way to the side, but about sort of halfway out away from the hips. We're going to do the same movement that we've just done. We're going to separate the knees and then bring it back together. We're going to change sides each time this time. So we're going to drop the knee out and then back to the center. Drop the knee out. When you bring the knees to the center, make sure the ankle and the knee touch on both sides and then bring the knee out to the side. Same idea as the last one. When you're doing this, when you're dropping the knee out to the side, make sure the back of the hip doesn't come off the ground. You want both hips to stay on the ground. The tendency is when the knee separates, the back of the hip is going to come up off the floor. So we want to keep those bony parts of the hip on the ground. When we're dropping the knee out, same idea as the last one, we're trying to keep the non-moving knee as still as possible. So we're going to go for 5 more reps. Keep the breathing nice and gentle. 4, try not to hold your breath, and 3, and 2, and 1. Bring the knees in and then hug the knees in towards the chest. So for the next level, you get a choice. You can either just not do it. So you would do level 1 or level 2, or you can do your level 3. So level 3, same idea. We're just going to be separating the legs, and the legs are going to be straight this time instead of bent. So let's take the feet back on the floor. So if you want to give it a go, you're going to tuck your bum, flatten the back, float one knee, float the other leg. We're going to straighten both legs up towards the ceiling. And then same idea as before, going to separate the legs. So separate the legs and then back. But we're separating both at the same time. So we're going to go both at the same time and then back. So we're going to go for 10. If you find that's too much, if you find that's too difficult, go back to your bent knee version. And with the bent knee version, you can separate both knees at the same time. So if you're doing the bent knee version, you take both knees away from each other at the same time. If you're doing the straight leg version, same idea. You're going to do both legs separating at the same time, keeping the back of the hips on the floor. And we're going to go for 5. And in, and 4. That's good. And 3. And 2. And 1. Pull the knees in and then hug the knees in towards the chest. So that's your knee dropouts. That's the different levels. Your 1 level, and then your 2, and then your 3. Straight leg version with both legs going out at the same time. We're going to go into some leg circles. We're going to take the soles of the feet back onto the floor, hands beside the hips. We're going to tuck your bum, flatten the back, float one knee. Knee's going to start off bent, and then you're going to straighten the leg up to the ceiling. Try and get the leg starting so that the foot is directly over the hip. You might find that quite difficult, so you might just drop the leg a little bit lower along the ground, along the mat. And we're going to just go for small circles initially. So we're going to go for nice small circles. And you'll notice that the movement starts from the hip. We're not just circling the ankle. You're pointing the toes. You've got a whole straight leg. Your knee is locked out. And we're doing small circles in a clockwise position. If you're on your right leg, and if you're on your left leg, you're going to go anti-clockwise. So we're going away from the center line. We're going to go for 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Place the foot down on the floor, and then we're going to change sides. So things to remember when you're doing this one: leg straight up to the ceiling, nice and small lifts. If you find that's too difficult, just lower the leg and then do your small circles. Try and make sure that the opposite knee isn't wobbling as you're doing that movement. So the leg that's on the floor, so the sole of the foot that's on the floor, keep that knee as still as possible. And we're going to go for 5 more. So 5, 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. And then let the leg go down to the floor. Go into your knee roll, so arms out wide, drop knees out to the side. Hold that position. And then bring the knees up and change sides. And then bring the legs back to the center. Bring the hands about halfway out from the hips. And we're going to go back into a leg circle. And this time you're going to be dropping the leg away from the body, down along the floor, and then back up to the center. So we're going to do a nice big circles. So you're going to go from the ceiling, away, along, and then back up. So we're combining our knee dropout movements where we did a straight leg version. We were dropping the leg out away from each other. And now we're introducing some circle movements into that as well. So we're going to go for 5 more. Nice big circles. Try and control the movement. Make sure that when you drop the leg away from the center line, from the ceiling, you're not lifting the opposite hip up off the ground. So we want to keep the opposite hip nice and firmly placed. So 2, last 1, and 1, dodgy counting, and then back to the ground. So we're going to change sides, so same movement on the other side. We're going to tuck the bum, brace the spine, float the leg, straighten the leg to the ceiling, hands about halfway out, drop the leg away from the center line, along the floor, and then back up to the ceiling. So away from the center line, making sure that you're keeping the opposite knee as still as possible. And we're trying to get that full straight leg for the whole movement, keeping the base of the spine flat down. And we're going to go for 5 more. So 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1, and then place the legs down on the floor. Straighten the legs along the floor, bring both hands up to the ceiling and then over the head. We're going to go into our diving position. So back of the hands are on the floor, stretching through the hands, getting that nice big long stretch through the hands. We're going to hold that position. Nice big stretch, keep it there, hold it there. Okay, you can relax and close the eyes if thou wishes. So we're going to hold that position. And then we're going to go up into some upper abdominal work. So bring the soles of the feet on the floor. Take the pillow out from underneath the head, or the towel out from underneath the head. And then we're going to bring your hands in behind the back of the head. Elbows are going to be out to the side. What we're going to do is we're going to lift the back of the head and the shoulders up off the ground. What we're not doing is we're not squeezing through the head. So we're not bringing the chin onto the chest. What we're doing is we're lifting up and towards the ceiling, trying to keep the elbows out to the side, keeping the hands gentle through the head, and then dropping back down again. So lightly touch the floor and then lift back up. Try and squeeze through those muscles, so through the muscles just at the base of the ribs. So you're almost trying to squeeze up and then trying to get that last little bit of a squeeze. Come down, lightly touch, and then back up again. Come down, lightly touch, and then back up again. And we're going to go for 10. So 9, that's good. And 8, that's good. And 7, and 6, and 5. Keep going, keep the elbows out to the side, keep the hands gentle behind the head. 3, that's good. 2, keep going. Last one, 1, and then relax the head down. If you bring the knees together, ankles together, and then arms out wide, just go into your knee roll position again. And just lie there and hold that position. And then we're going to bring the knees up and change sides. And then you're going to bring the knees back to the center again. So soles of feet nicely firmly on the ground. Hands are going to come back in behind the head. So we did an ab prep, just straight up and down. So this time we're going to do an ab prep with twist. So we're lifting and twisting to the side. You'll notice the elbows stay pointed out to the side. So what we're not doing is we're not squeezing the elbows together. You're keeping the elbows to the side. We're lifting the back of one shoulder off the ground, and then you're going to drop back down, lightly touch, and repeat to the other side. Come down, lightly touch, and repeat to the other side. And we're going to go for 10. Keep the elbows pointed to the side. Try not to bring the elbows together. So we're nicely out. Keep the hands gentle behind the back of the head. We're also trying to keep the knees still as well. So what we're not doing is we're not flinging our body up and round so that the knees are wobbling all over the place. We want to keep those knees nice and stable. It's meant to be an upper abdominal movement rather than a lower one. So we want to go for 6 more. 5, dodgy counting, and 4, and 3, and 2, last one, 1, let the head come down, straighten the legs out, bring the hands up and over the head into our diving position again, so back of the hands on the floor as much as you're able to, stretch out through the hands, nice big stretch, and we're going to hold that position again. So we've done a level 1 ab prep, which is just straight up and down, level 2, which is with the twist, And then level 3, if you want to give the level 3 a little bit of a go, you can. So we're going to go, arms are going to come out to the side. So we're sort of in a Y position. So we're not in a T position where the hands are straight to the side. We're not in an I position. We're halfway between. So level 3, we're going to go hand, and we're going to lift the leg up, and we're going to bring the opposite hand up and try and touch the foot. And then we're going to go down and change sides. Lift the opposite foot to the opposite hand. When you're doing it, we are trying to get the back of the shoulder off the ground. So we get a nice big rotation and then back down again. Nice big rotation and then down. So we're going to go for 10. If you find that too much, just go back a level. Do that level 2 where we've got our hands in behind the head, elbows to the side, and we're just twisting. So we're going to go for 4 and down, and 3 and down, 2 and down. Last one. 1. Let it come down. You can put the pillow back in behind the head again, if you can find it, and then bring the knees up and hug the knees in towards the chest. So we've done some circles through the legs, we've done some knee dropouts, we've done some upper abdominal twists, and a little bit of stretching as well. We're going to go onto our bellies, so we're going to roll onto your belly. A couple of stretches, and then that will be us done for the first half. So all the way onto the bellies, hands are going to come under the shoulders. You're going to push up through the hands, keeping the shoulders down and back, lifting the head, pushing up as much and as far as you're able to. Hold it there for a couple of seconds. And then come back down, and then push back up again. Hold it there. That's my belly rumbling. So we're going to go back up again. It's not even lunchtime. So pushing up again, hold it there, and then back down, and then push back up again, hold it there, and then back down. 2 more, so pushing up and holding, and then back down, and then pushing up and holding, and then come back down. We're going to go up onto your hands and knees. Bring your bum back to your ankles into our curled up prayer position. So bum back to the ankles, forehead down to the ground, elbows on the floor, just relaxing there. Trying to get the bum as far back as possible towards the ankles. We're just going to hold that for about 30 seconds. So you can just relax there for a moment. This will be the quietest time of your life, of the day, unless somebody's drilling next door. Yeah, that's it. Music to our ears. So keep the bum where it is and then stretch the arms out along the mat into our big long child's pose position. So arms are stretched out. You'll get an increased stretch just coming into the armpits and into the upper shoulders. Hold that position there. Then we're going to walk one hand to the side of the mat. The other hand is going to come on top. We're going to shift the weight to the opposite side. So I've got my hands out to the left. I'm going to shift my weight to the right. Keep the head tucked under. Hold that position. And you should feel an increased stretch coming down from your armpit down to the side of the hip. We're going to hold that position. And then we're going to change sides. Bring the hands back. Hands round to the other side. Shimmy the weight towards the opposite side. Keep the head tucked under. Hold that position. With one more stretch after this. We're going to keep holding for a couple more seconds. And then bring the hands back to the center. Come up onto the hands and knees. We're going to go into our cat-camel. So hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, arching the back. Nice wee mobility stretch just to finish us off. So we're going to go for 5. Trying to really exaggerate the upward movement. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Bring the hands in, go up into kneeling, and there we go. A little bit of beginner, intermediate abdominals. Good job.